Here's why your coding agent gets dumber the longer you use it. In this video, I'm going to show you why you're leaving up to 90% of your agent's performance on the table, and the simple yet powerful fix that will save you from hours of debugging. By the end, you'll have a complete understanding of context rot, the sinister problem that ruins your sessions without you realizing it's happening. I'm Roman. I published a top 3% paper at NeurIPS, the largest AI conference in the world. Now, I'm focused on pushing agentic coding to its limits. So what is context rot? Context rot is the phenomenon where a large language model's attention gets stretched thin as input tokens increase, resulting in decreasing intelligence, increased hallucination rate, lower quality instruction following, and perceived laziness. Hallucinations are particularly malignant since they are very convincing and can go undetected in your codebase, causing catastrophic bugs. Context rot occurs because, like in humans, the attention of models is a finite resource. Also, training examples both in the pre-training and reinforcement learning phases are relatively short conversations. As context length grows, the model is increasingly out of distribution. Research shows that context rot can decrease model effectiveness by up to 90% in coding tasks. It's my belief that much of the literature on context rot understates its impact on LLMs due to the fact that most studies measuring context rot use benchmarks that are far simpler than coding and reasoning, such as needle in a haystack. This is why proper context engineering and agentic orchestration is a core skill to have in the modern era, regardless of your profession. Your agent is already context rotted before you type a single word. Smart users start their sessions between 23 and 26,000 tokens. That's system prompts and built-in tools alone. Average users sit at 40 to 50K because they've added MCP servers and a decent-sized Claude.md. And egregious users are already above 50 to 100,000 tokens. Massive Claude.md files crammed with 30,000 tokens of instructions. Every MCP server they found on Twitter, plugins, custom agents. That's like trying to fit Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone into Claude's context window and then asking it to write to your precious codebase. At this point, model intelligence has dropped by 40 to 90% before you even typed your first message. So as the context builds up, our model's effective IQ begins to drop. Naturally, our goal is to maximize our model's intelligence while keeping all critical information in the context window. Notably, there are also some tasks where a dumber or less reliable model can still complete them. So the solution to all of this is context engineering. The primary ways to context engineer are /clear, which resets the context window, /rewind, which lets you trim recent context by jumping to a previous checkpoint, /compact, which summarizes the conversation, and spawning a subagent, which creates an isolated context window. If you want to learn more about how to context engineer properly, join my community linked below. It's the largest agentic coding community on School. So the context rot problem is particularly tough with coding agents due to the fact that they must get up to speed on your codebase. The quicker and more efficiently you can get them the information they need, the better. We need to focus on good specs for them to read and point them in the direction of the files they should read for a given task. Don't just let Claude run off and read whatever he pleases, and believe me, he will. Point him in the right direction and give him a map, not a novel. Many people assume that a 1 million context window model is actually more robust against context rot. But actually, these models are just as susceptible to context rot as every other model, regardless of the size of their context windows. So instead of the dumb zone being in the latter half of the context window, the dumb zone is in 90% of their context window. This leads to absolutely catastrophic decreases in performance quality. A practically unusable model for any application at all, let alone coding. At 700,000 tokens, it's like fitting 10 Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stones on top of one another, and then asking the agent to code something for you. As you can imagine, this is not going to go well. Now, let me show you context rot in action. I gave the exact same prompt to Claude. Build me a landing page for my AI agency. Please make it absolutely beautiful with a strong and shocking white lightning hero effect, pulled with shaders from WebGL. On the left, a clean session with only the system prompt taking up context. On the right, I first fed 60% of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone into the context window, starting work at 78% context. This is the quality difference that comes from irrelevant information being left in the context window. The model is obviously less capable while under the influence of context rot, and it is also more lazy. This is because it's been rewarded during reinforcement learning to not do work that would fill the context window, resulting in this perceived laziness. As you can see, the white lightning hero effect has a stark quality difference. And I think of this in this way. Front-end tasks like this are quite easy for LLMs. Imagine how their performance decreases when they are in your complex code bases making changes. So here are some key takeaways from your next coding session. Take these seriously, and your agentic coding journey will change drastically. Stop treating coding agents like chatbots. They are incredibly sensitive. Every token in context will impact the trajectory of their response, so context engineer aggressively and actively. Models are amplifiers, not reducers. Stop trying to take yourself out of the loop until you have mastered agentic patterns. Sit on the loop instead. No effort in equals no effort out. 2x effort in equals 20x output at least. Now, watch what your agent reads at startup. Don't let it just explore your repo and get context rotted. Tell it what to read ahead of time. Turn off autocompact. You are doing work, not watching TV. You won't need it if you're smart about context management. Context is not free storage or a place to teach models every little thing. Every token you store costs you intelligence, so stop putting so many behavioral instructions in your Claude.md. It's great to know about context rot when using coding agents, but what's even better is having a community to talk about it with. If you want to go deeper on this, join the free community. It's the #1 agentic coding community on School. Link in the description. Thanks for watching.